Hello, everyone. It is me, Danielle Jane Mitchell, your up and coming queen of real estate, and I'm here for another episode of Tuesday Tip at 2. Hello, everybody. Hello, and happy Tuesday. You know what time it is today. It is Tuesday Tip at 2, and I'm here for this week's and today's Tuesday Tip at 2. I'm so excited to be here with you guys because I'm continuing, if I can say that word right, in my series, Housing Market Trends. Okay, so the last time we chatted, as we know, I'm gonna just give you a little synopsis. I kicked the year off talking about the housing market in 2023. What is it going to look like? Okay, at least what it's forecasted to look like. Please forgive me, by the way. You're going to be hearing a little clink, clank, clank, clank. All right. We felt like being noisy today. Okay. We felt like being noisy today. Okay. And as an amazing influencer says, and that's my business. It's my business. Anywho, so I kicked it off talking about the forecast for 2023. What is it going to look like, right? And I kind of give an overview of the housing market, right, as far as across the country. But I niched it. And I started talking about my local area, which I am a PA realtor who services Philadelphia and the surrounding suburbs, okay, which would include but are not limited to Delaware County and Montgomery County. Okay. So talked about Philadelphia. It's a huge city. It's one of the largest, especially on the Northeast. And I went and talked about that, and it was a good conversation. So today I'm going to talk about the Mainline. Okay. We're going to talk about the Mainline. The Mainline, if you do not know, okay, the Mainline encompasses some amazing areas that are right outside of Philadelphia. Some are closer to Philly than others, but we're going to get into it. Before we do that, though, I need to welcome all my new subscribers. Hey, y'all. I had an uptick in this past week, and I'm thankful. I appreciate it. I appreciate literally every subscriber, every one extra that I get. I appreciate it. That is a lot. Large part of that is due to the shorts that I do. So that's why you have to subscribe and push the all notifications tab, because you're going to see the shorts that I do, which 99% of the time are funny, also informative at times, but they're funny. So it is, of course, shorter forms of some tips, and just, having some fun, okay, with the TikToks and the reels and all the things in the shorts. So again, welcome new subscribers. Please push the subscribe button. If you just landed upon this video, please do so, okay? Now, again, I mentioned what area I serve, which is Philly and the surrounding suburbs. And listen, if you're living in those areas and you're interested in getting ready and geared up for the spring market, which is to come, which starts at the end of March, middle of March, beginning of March, however you want to decipher that, you need to go to book.djmrealty.com. Okay, the time is now. If you're like, I'm thinking about it, I think I may, I think I might, I wish I will, I wish I will. Click the link. Go to the link, sign up, go ahead. What does that link do? It's just my scheduling link, okay? It gives you the option of buyer consultation, seller consultation, or if you're an investor, a budding investor, you want to get started in this market, then you need to go there. Let's have a conversation. Preparation is key. So even if you're not trying to sell or trying to buy until spring market or maybe beginning of summer, it's still okay to have the conversation so you can know how to plan property, and make informed choices and decisions. Now let's get into it. Okay. So Mainline, what are you talking about, Danielle? What are you talking about? So pretty much the Mainline is, suburban area outside of Philadelphia. What's great about it is that it was first called the Mainline. Where is the history from, right? It's because of the Pennsylvania Railroad train line that was built in the area beginning around the 1850s. Originally, many of the small towns were founded by prominent Philadelphia families who built summer homes away from the city, but who used the newly built railroad to travel back and forth. Right. So while the main line now refers to areas slightly north or south, most of the towns are laid out along the railroad line, which runs parallel to Lancaster Ave, which is also known as Route 30. Okay, the oldest paved road in the country. Okay, many of Philadelphia's mainline towns have a kind of town center clustered around services, businesses on Lancaster Ave. Okay, which is very true. If you go down Lancaster, you'll see all the things. Some of those areas or towns would include, but are not limited to, okay, Marion, Narberth, Wynwood, Ardmore, Haverford, and Bryn Mawr. Okay, these are, the oldest, the closest ones to Philadelphia. But you can get more west into the main line, and you have Rosemont, Villanova, Radnor, St. David's, Wayne, Stratford, and Devon. And then further out is Berlin, Dalesford, and Paoli. And then, of course, you also have Malvern, Exton, Whitford, Downingtown, and now most of the mainline area falls within the Lower Merion, Haverford, or Radnor townships and school districts. And that is what's going to be our focus on today. Now, let's check it out on a map really quickly. Now, it's very interesting with the main line because depending on who you ask, who you talk to, yeah, you're never really sure all of the towns it encompasses. Some people pick and choose the towns it encompasses. So sometimes it gets a little sticky, right? But as I said before, you have Marion Station in there, you have Wynwood, you have Ardmore, Narberth, Gladwin, Haverford, Bryn Mawr, Radnor, and Wayne. So those are your start. That's the starters, right? Depending on who you ask, you have Havertown, right? So it's literally dependent on who you ask. And the other thing about it is a lot of people just really focus in on that line, that Route 30 artery, as I said before. So if people stick to that railroad line and Lancaster Ave, it's like, hey, we can't have these honorable mentions in there, right? So hey, to each his own. To each his own. All right. So now that we've come through some of the history, let's get to the numbers. Okay. Let's get to the stats. Right. So the median list price is 600,000. Median list price is 600,000. Okay. Like I said, I believe that these stats are including Lower Merion Township, Haverford Township, and Radnor Township. Okay. So median sale price is 600,000. Now, if you break that down to the type of homes, let's just look at single family homes. You have 825. Let's look at townhomes. You have 414,500, and condos, which there are condos, a lot of nice condos out in the main line. You're looking at 250. Okay. So like I said, when you put it all together, it is 600,000. So in December 2022, mainline home prices were up by 5.3% compared to last year, selling for a median price of 600,000. On average, homes in the mainline sell after 29 days on the market compared to 37 days last year. There were 227 homes sold in December this year, down from 341 last year. And as I've been talking about this whole time, last year, talking about 2021, that was a high peak crazy time. Okay. So when you're comparing it, those percentages and those numbers and everything like that, 227 is not bad at all. Okay. Not bad at all. So let's talk about the demand for the mainline area. It says somewhat competitive, right? So now, if I got more specific to a Ardmore or to a Bala Kenwood or to a Wynwood, you will see that A lot of them are very competitive. It starts to spike up a bit more depending on where you're looking, and depending on what price point you're at. So it tends, when I was looking at individual areas, it was definitely peaking a lot more. Okay. But here it says somewhat competitive at 62, a 62 rating, I believe, about 100. Some homes sell and stay on the market 29 days. Some homes get multiple offers. Average home sell about 1% below list price and go put it in around 29 days. Hot homes can sell for about 3% above list price and go pending in and around 7 things. Now, 3% above is a vast difference from like 2020, 2021, when it was like 20%, 50%, especially in this area. It was going up exponentially higher. Okay, so 3%, with something that's competitive is not bad. A 3% markup is a great difference, from like a 40% markup, 20% markup, which we were seeing a lot of during the height of, that pandemic, low interest rates that during that time. Okay. Now, as I did before, who is coming to the main line? Who's coming? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about, very similar to Philly. So a lot of people from, again, New York, some people from, West Coast and places like that, but mainly New York, mainly Maryland, mainly DC area. As I stated in the last video in regards to Philadelphia, again, in comparison, of course, if you're at the price bracket on the main line of, 600, 800,000, then likely the kind of house that you wanted and that, that you prefer to get in New York is going to definitely be a way above $1 million listing, right? So, or if you get something for your price range in New York, it's going to be looking a lot different from in the mainline area. Okay. And the other thing that makes the main line great is the walkability, being able to, bike, walk, depending on where you are, of course. People like to move to the areas that's a bit closer to the city because it's more walkable. Places like, again, that's along that Lancaster Ave, Bryn Mawr, Wynwood, Bala somewhat, depending on where you are in Bala Ardmore, and so on and so forth. So, depending if you're kind of closer to Lancaster Ave, you're definitely probably going to have a bit more walkability than if you're kind of further out and you got the trees and some deers and some creeks in your backyard. It's going to look a little bit different. So, lastly, some of the features that are most valuable or trending. Let's talk about them. So, 4-bedroom homes is trending. Your soaker tubs, breakfast areas, and these houses, these are all for houses that's over 500,000, which is quite the norm in the mainline area. Larger lumber room, ensuite for the bathroom, 2 bathrooms, 2 sinks, fences, laundry area. Some things that are trending up in the main line: washer, dryer, soaker tubs, office, a view. There are some places in on the main line that has some amazing views. You wouldn't think that we're an area where, New York is, no high rises and all those different things, but the main line, you can really get some nice views. Basement, new construction, pool, maybe something that's waterfront or anything that's around water, near water, central air, and balcony. Okay. And for that, the list price is pretty much 550 and up, some are 500. For a balcony, you may be able to do 345 as far as price points. Okay. Well, listen, that is all. That is it. That is all for today's and this week's Tuesday. You got something out of that. Listen, if you're interested in buying or selling, you can go to book.djmrealtyco.com. Again, book.djmrealtyco.com, and we can get you started. Okay. Don't delay. Sign up today. Yeah, I just want to do that today. So I hope to talk to you guys. Hope to talk with you guys soon. Remember, there's no place like home and no place like home. Bye. Bye.